Su Qing's novella Beauty on the Wrong Road. Original text 14. Go and astray. Xu Yalan is a tall young man in a neat suit, but his face looks a little pale. It is said that his father was just a small businessman and had passed away long ago. He only had a sick mother and no other brothers and sisters in the family. He and Master Du were classmates. They both liked sex, so they often hung out together. However, Xu Yalan did not take advantage of Master Du. On the contrary, when they played together outside, Xu Yalan always acted like a wise old horse. He leads him and often pays his bills. From that day when Master Du treated me to a treat, and he and I got to know each other, Xu Yalan always seemed to pay attention to me. And according to Master Du, he often praised me in front of him. Miss Zhang, let me introduce you as a friend, Master Du said to me with a grin. Didn't you already introduce me? I asked him with a stern face, because I knew that the word friend in his sentence had a special meaning. I felt a little unhappy. Unexpectedly, he laughed loudly and said, "That's it. It turns out that you two have already been in love with each other for a long time." I felt that it was even more unpleasant to listen to, so I turned around and walked away. But Xu Yalan was indeed looking for an opportunity to talk to me. At first, I just thought that he seemed to be in need of hard work, and that young people should not be too playful. He smiled and said, "What's the point of studying hard? I worked hard enough when I was studying in the mainland. I majored in engineering. I studied hard for more than half a year under a dim vegetable oil lamp and ate mixed sand every day. The rice and side dishes were often only vegetables or beans. But what happened? I fell ill. I suffered from severe stomachache and sore throat all the time. How could I continue to read this book during the War of Resistance? The health of many young people in the mainland has been destroyed, but they will not be allowed to acquire any knowledge. They have suffered in vain for the past few years. If they get a diploma in the future, they will not be particularly popular. If they are unemployed, they will still be unemployed." After thinking about it, I finally saved my life by running back to Shanghai. At the same time, my thinking has changed greatly. Miss Zhang, do you know that making money depends on skill and opportunity? So what's the point of studying hard? I was very dissatisfied when I heard this, so I said, "But studying for knowledge is for yourself. You can't just talk about making money or not." He smiled and said, "So you think you will be happy if you have knowledge? But I want to ask, are you what knowledge can be gained here? I came here to live. Of course, I also know that there is no progress in learning," he said. "But you also know that life is more important than knowledge. To tell you the truth, I don't care about everything. Reading is hard work. And of course there is no joy in eating, drinking and playing. In the past, people were willing to study hard because reading we can seek fame and wealth. Even if we can still make money after studying, we can still study hard for a few years. But the facts tell us that this is obviously in vain. If we are not careful, we will lose our lives. So why bother?" I felt disgusted again. So I snorted and said, "Is the purpose of life just to eat, drink and have fun?" He replied, "Probably what it means is to serve the society. It should be noted that society is a collection of individuals, and no one is superior. They should serve each other and have the opportunity to enjoy each other. Now everyone is eating, drinking and playing. However, I have to study hard, hoping that I can serve them without caring about the reward. I can't learn such a spirit of sacrifice. Moreover, you don't know whether others can provide you with unpaid services. It's a chance." After a pause, he continued, "As for saying that reading is a kind of happiness, you are lying to yourself. If we can't afford to watch movies and have to sweep the floor and wash clothes at home, then maybe we feel that reading is a kind of happiness. It's better to read books and be happy. Otherwise, I don't think virtue is as good as lust. Once a poor scholar becomes successful, he will still want the beauty of the officialdom and the favor of his wife and concubines. Let me tell you, Miss Zhang, people's hearts are the same. Never think that you are noble and others are despicable, or that you are noble while others are vulgar. People's hearts are all the same. If you become a noble wife, I am afraid you will still love playing cards. You may not think so. Holding a book all day long, people have to adapt to the environment. Otherwise, they will suffer more trouble and pain. Miss Zhang, there are two environments here. One is to be Mrs. Du, who smokes and plays cards every day to entertain guests. The first option is to be Miss Zhang, read and teach the children every day, and hang out with the boss's wife. These two lifestyles are not easy to change in today's society. Whether you are Mrs. Du, you have to love playing cards, and I believe you. When the time comes, you will definitely love playing cards. Every hobby has a kind of fun in it. If you play cards more, you will naturally become interested in it. And over time, you will become obsessed with it. If you become Zhang, where's the lady? Of course you have to read a book, and it would be even more boring if you didn't read, because your money and time don't allow you to play cards with them all day long. A person will naturally become interested in cards in an environment where he can play cards. In an environment where you can read, you will also become interested in books. However, from my objective point of view, reading is naturally not as good as playing cards, because the purpose of reading is to make money, and the purpose of playing cards is to win money, and hard work is not as good as making money. Winning money by luck is comfortable and enjoyable, so there are far more people who like to play cards than read books. Miss Zhang, you just enjoyed reading along the lake. Isn't this a lie? I was speechless, but I always felt that reading was a legitimate thing and playing cards was an improper thing. Although the joy of reading may not be as good as playing cards. Shi Yalan also knew what I meant, so he said, your brain is not flexible, so you have to be in conflict and pain. Aren't you dissatisfied with the real environment? In fact, you don't live well, eat well, and wear well. Why are you dissatisfied? Because you feel that you are not the owner here. You are relying on them, which hurts your self-esteem. I know that people like you really want to live a peaceful and unchanging life. It is best to have a job that relies on ability, no contact with people, a better monthly salary, and you can save some money for unexpected needs. But, miss, this kind of area of stable currency value may never happen. Here we go again. At least in the short term, it is difficult to achieve your ideal. What should you do? Naturally, you have to adapt to the environment and snap up supplies to save currency value. Maybe by chance, you can make unexpected profits. Isn't this great? But your brain is not good at changing. You always remember the past of earning a legitimate salary, saving, etc. You think that life in the past was legitimate and that life now is improper. What is the basis for judging this? The whole history is changing, and it will continue to change in the future. You have to change with the society. Even if the society has changed to the stage of hoarding, you still have to think it is legitimate to deposit money in the bank, but you will suffer losses. Your failure is due to outdated ideas, but it is not enough to be ahead of the times. When everyone said that the earth was square, Copernicus insisted on saying that it was round, so he insisted on it. He was sentenced to death, but later everyone came to regret that he had died unjustly, but his bones were already rotting. People only have one life, and they cannot be resurrected after they are lost. The saying that even though they are dead, they are still alive, it means killing him. People use borrow to cover up their crimes, which means to say to everyone who is not dead, of course, don't hate us for forcing him to death. Now that his injustice is clear, he is still alive even though he is dead. I wonder if Copernicus himself felt that death was the same as living? If he really felt that it was worth dying for the truth, then he was even more of a fool, because he believed in the theory that the earth is round. It's not the truth yet. Now we have proven that the earth is elliptical. In short, in my opinion, there is no other truth in the world. There is only one truth, which is that everything has changed, is still changing now, and will continue to change in the future. Keep changing. If we want to live, we must keep changing according to the situation where we are. In other words, those who understand the current affairs are outstanding. Otherwise, I don't need to say the result. I was silent for a while, feeling that I couldn't change. So I said, why can't I just think about it? I always feel like there is something wrong with my current lifestyle. He thought for a moment and replied, this is probably because you are not very proud at the moment. If you hoard and make a fortune, you will no longer think that the method of getting money is wrong, but you will still feel like in the past, it was better to earn a salary and gradually save some money. Mr. Du and his colleagues are no longer interested in a mere salary. They believe that people should seize power and make huge profits. Only those who cannot benefit from it will complain. There is a 9-pound-old lady in Luzon's novel. She often complains that the world is not right now and the beans have become hard. In fact, everyone eats the same kind of beans. Why don't her daughter-in-law and granddaughter complain about this? It's not Doozy. It's because she's old and has bad teeth. So she can't blame Doozy. Miss Zhang, you're still young, so you don't have to be like the old lady Jujin, right? I lowered my head, and after a while, I said, according to what you said, what should I do? He smiled and said, why don't you talk about us? Wouldn't it be better to tell us what we should do? I'm like this. I don't think you can stand out as a first-rate person. The more ordinary your interests, hobbies, habits, etc. are, the better. People like to play cards. I also like to play cards, so it's easy to find a partner. If someone likes to play cards and I prefer to play the guqin, firstly, it will be difficult to find a good teacher. Secondly, there will be few close friends. And thirdly, there will not be many shops to buy liars, so the price will be very expensive. Yes. Isn't this asking for trouble? I love money, because money can get everything. And this is the highest goal. Secondly, it is easiest to use power to grab money, because it is robbery, such as stealing other people's money. People have to kneel down and beg for mercy after handing over their money. However, robbers must be punished by law. Those who steal contracts are special, and those who steal the country are kings, as long as they get more power. The law is the weapon I use to punish others. Of course I can ignore it, and I will be very proud of it. Ha. As for the next best thing, I have to resort to cheating. If you ask others for a penny, they will not want it, so you must cheat them and get it quickly. If you give out 10,000 yuan, saying that it will be used as capital, you can earn 100,000 yuan in less than 3 days. So he will hand over the 10,000 yuan to you, and he will blame himself for his weak strength and lack of capital. Isn't it enough? Miss Zhang, we must adapt to the trend and adapt to the environment, and we should not always be so stubborn. I felt a little uncomfortable hearing this, but it seemed to make sense. So I asked him, what about me? What should I do? He said, you? Of course you are the same as me. You have to take advantage of the environment. Your shortcoming is that you only want to defend yourself and not be taken advantage of by others, and you cannot take the initiative to take advantage of others. Let me ask you, you have no money, power now. What is there for others to appropriate? At most, it's just a woman's body. Women's bodies are also natural resources. You must make good use of them when necessary. Well, you can still pretend to be stupid, and you look like you can easily be taken advantage of. People come here to take advantage of you, but they end up taking advantage of you. Miss Zhang, I often go to the dance hall. I know that the dancer's ability is that she seems to be able to change people's thoughts, but in the end, someone often spends their money for her, but she still can't move her in the slightest. The second woman is a barter trade, exchanging her body for money, and to get the right price. The stupid one is to let others play in vain and get nothing. The most pitiful one is to lose the wife and lose the soldiers. I know you will get it by bartering. Appropriate price is the fairest thing, but otherwise, men are all cheap. If you treat him fairly, he will look down on you. I think people have different levels of intelligence, and those with higher levels of intelligence should take advantage. Otherwise, it will be unfair. Why is it so expensive? That's why a dancer told me that she never wanted to have physical relations with her customers, but she always gave them hope and told them not to lose heart. He is about to leave in despair. Isn't that a pity? Her answer was really good. She said that there is nothing pity about it. If one person dies, there will be another one. But if you refuse to let him go, at the same time, we can't just talk and be perfunctory. So we have to let him take advantage of it and have a relationship with him. But will this prevent him from leaving? No. If he achieves his goal, he will still leave. It's fair. Even if the guest looks down on you and thinks you are nothing more than that, why not let him work in vain and suffer some losses? And he will envy you for being unattainable. Miss Zhang, this is a wise saying for women in life. You should keep it in mind. You can apply it right now, and you will benefit a lot. I'm dizzy and don't know which way to choose the right one, or is it not necessarily justified?
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.